지금 들어와 모두 다 들어와. 하이. 몇 명 더 들어오고 이 얘기를 해야겠다. 서프라이즈! 저 금발했어요. 금발하고 처음 라이브인 것 같은데. 그치. 오케이, 이제 충분히 들어온 것 같으니 얘기하자. 저희는 오늘 릴리딩 위대한 개츠비를 얘기하러 왔어요. We're here to talk about The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. F. Scott Fitzgerald. The Great Gatsby. 릴리딩 환영해요. Welcome to Lily's Lost Plot. Welcome. Lily, do a backflip. Ugh. I was so fast. You couldn't even see it. I was like moving at the speed of lightning. Did you just see that? I was so fast you couldn't even see it basically. Wow. Anyway. 환영해요. So, 이 책 아주 엄청나게 유명하고 사랑을 많이 받고 있는 책이죠. 영화도 그렇고. This is a very well-loved, famous book and movie. So, 다들 읽으셨나요? 읽으신 분 손들어. 영화 본 사람 손들어. Tell me, did you guys read it or did you watch the movie? Like, what's going on? I saw the movie. Lily, what's that behind you? Us. It's us. Anyway. I saw the movie. I tried. I even bought the book. You tried. Oh, that's sad. I read and saw the movie. Okay. This book sounds familiar. Yes, very famous. 둘 다 봤지롱. 우! 감사합니다. 영어로 봤어요. 우! 보고 읽었어요. 헉, 대박. 저도 둘 다예요. 아니 물론 이번에는 책만 읽었는데 예전에 영화도 본 적이 있고 영화도 되게 재밌게 봤었어요. 책도 읽었고요. 책은 두 번째로 읽은 거예요. 책 처음으로 읽었을 때는 언제였지? 한번 봐야겠다. 잠시만요. 처음에는 2021년에 읽었었네요. 2021년에 13일 만에 읽었네요. 그리고 이번에는 8일 만에 읽었네요. 그래도 좀 빨리 읽었네 이번에. 처음에 읽었을 때도 되게 아니다. 너무 스포하지 않고 그건 나중에 얘기합시다. 어쨌든 너무 재밌게 읽었었어요. So this is I've read the book twice. This is my second time reading it with you guys. And I've watched the movie once. And I enjoyed both of them a lot. I enjoyed the movie as well. So, okay, so let's begin. Let's go. Let's go into the spoilers. Got my handy notes. 아니 일단 처음부터 데디케이션이 한국어로 뭘까? 처음에 작가가 책을 쓸 때 가끔씩은 약간 투 누구 약간 그런 거 하잖아요. 약간 그런 거 하잖아요. So 그거 한국어로 뭔지는 모르겠지만 어쨌든 이번 책도 그게 있었는데 되게 스윗하더라고요. It says I know some of you guys are gonna hate that I'm folding the book like this, but what can I say? It says once again to Zelda. 또다시 젤다에게 라고 써져 있는데 그것 자체도 너무 스윗하더라고요. 스윗하게 느껴졌어요. 일단 솔직하게 말하면 이 책의 핵심은 뭐 다른 이야기도 되게 많지만 솔직히 핵심은 사랑이라고 할 수 있잖아요. 그래서 이 사랑책에 자기 아내한테 이렇게 써준 게 너무 감동이더라고요. Once again to Zelda. I just thought it was like really sweet. I know there's some problems. I don't know the exact lore behind everything. I'm not really that well versed in it. I know that there are some people who say some stuff about F. Scott Fitzgerald. He's a controversial figure. I don't know, just on a surface level, I thought it was sweet that he dedicated this book to his wife, Zelda. Zelda's a queen. She's a queen. So anyway, that was cute. And we begin the story with Nick, the main character. 맨 처음에 이제 Nick이라는 캐릭터로 시작을 해요. 메인 캐릭터가 Nick이라는 사람이고요. 약간 웨스턴 쪽, 서양이 아니라 서쪽, 미국 서쪽에 살다가 이제 동쪽으로 이제 올라온 거예요. 뉴욕으로 올라온 거예요. 그래서 그게 약간 미국도 되게 크잖아요. 그래서 약간 주에 따라 되게 문화도 다르고 그렇잖아요. 웨스턴 쪽이랑 이스턴 쪽이 되게 다른 걸로 유명하잖아요. 그래서 이분이 약간 미드웨스트 쪽에 살다가 이제 뉴욕으로 이사 간 게 솔직히 이때는 1920년대였었어도 되게 새로운 경험이었을 텐데 약간 그런 거에 대해서 이제 말을 하고 약간 솔직히 말하면 이 책이 되게 뉴욕이랑 이제 동쪽 문화에 대해 조금 깊게 생각할 수 있는 그런 책일 수 있을 것 같아요. 제가 막 완전 그런 쪽을 막 미국에 살지 않으니까 그런 쪽을 완전 잘하는 건 아니지만 어쨌든 그냥 그런 거를 조금 그 동쪽 사람들의 문화에 대해서 약간 East Coast 부자분들에 대한 인생을 조금 더 살펴볼 수 있는 책이라고 생각해요. So anyway, we start with Nick, and he originated from the Midwest, and as you know, the U.S. is really huge, and so even state by state, a lot of cultures are different, and he starts with kind of explaining a little bit of his history in the Midwest and how he's moved to New York, which even in the 20s would have been a big difference to where he grew up. The 1920s would be a big difference to where he grew up. So he talks a little bit about that and how moving to New York has been. 약간 그 finance에 대해서 배우려고 공부하고 일하려고 왔어요. 경제에 대해서. 경제. So he has come to study finance, basically. You know, stock markets, bonds, things like that. Real exciting stuff. Real exciting. My favorite subject in the world. Yes. Finance. Love it. Anyway, 그리고 맨 처음부터 이제 그 경제에 대해서 이야기하는데 너무 신나가지고 한편으로는 되게 귀여웠지만 한편으로는 되게 공감이 안 됐었어요. like 되게 와 나 너무 기대된다. 오늘 일하러 간다. 약간 오늘 경제에 대해서 또 배운다. 약간 그런 게 조금 새로우면서도 되게 싶었어요. what? 공감 못다. 약간 그런 느낌이었어요. 경제? 경제가 그렇게 신난다고? 약간 그런 거였어요. And like he's so excited about his finances, and he's like, you know, oh, I'm going into the big city to learn about finance, and he's getting all excited, and I just couldn't relate. It's finance. How exciting can it be? Like, I'm sure it's great. No, I really admire that about it because I really do believe I love people that are passionate about things. Like, whether even if it's something that I don't agree with or that I'm not into, for example, finance. I admire when someone's really passionate about the stuff that they do. And he was definitely really that. So I really admire that, and it was really cute, but it ain't for me, bro. Like, it's not for me. It ain't for me. Anyway, good for him though. 그리고 진짜 처음부터 제가 피츠제랄드의 쓰기 방법을 되게 좋아했었어요. 되게 좋아했었어요. 일단은 솔직하게 말하면 쉽진 않아요. 쉽진 않은 것 같아요, 이 라이팅. 솔직히 책이 되게 짧잖아요. 막 200페이지도 안 되잖아요. 근데도 8일 걸렸다는 것 자체가 이제 원래 제가 고전 작품을 되게 오래 걸리긴 해요. 왜냐하면 어렵잖아요. 근데 그래도 되게 짧은 거에 치면서 그리고 되게 재밌는 거에 치면서도 되게 오래 걸리는 편인 것 같아요. 어려워서. 저는 솔직하게 말할 수 있어요. 어렵다는 거를. 제가 뭐 이런 책을 읽는다고 다 쉽다는 건 아니에요. 어렵긴 한데 어쨌든 배우면서 하는 거죠. 근데 솔직히 어렵지만 너무 좋아요. 좋다고 느껴졌어요. 읽으면서. 이해하긴 어렵지만 진짜 이해하려고 노력을 하면 너무 재밌고 좋은 책이라고 생각을 했었어요. 일단은 좋다고 느껴진 이유가 제일 큰 이유는 캐릭터 분석을 너무 잘하는 것 같아요. 캐릭터 설명을 너무 잘하는 것 같아요. 책을 읽고 있으면 이거 나중에 더 얘기를 하겠지만 캐릭터가 약간 뭐라 해야 되지? 특이하면서도 진짜 있을 법한 사람들. 약간 너무 그분들의 심경이라고 해야 되나? 그분들의 마인드를 너무 잘 설명하니까 진짜 현실적이지만 또 한편으로는 되게 신기한 사람들이 되게 많았던 것 같아요. 이분들의 캐릭터가 다 약간 캐릭터 같아요. 캐릭터 같은데 근데 뭔가 진짜 그분들의 심장이 뭔가 읽혀지는 그런 게 너무 잘 쓰는 것 같아요. 그런 걸 너무 잘하시는 것 같아요, 이 작가님이. 그래서 되게 재밌어요. 그리고 그냥 재미없진 않아요, 진짜. 고전 소설들 중에서 솔직하게 말하면 많이 배울 수는 있지만 그래도 조금은 재미없는 게 있잖아요? 근데 이거는 재밌어요. 진짜 재밌어요. 그래서 그게 되게 마음에 들었던 것 같아요. And I can be real with you. I read a lot of, well, not a lot, but I mean, I read classics, right, for fun. But I can still say they're difficult, and it takes me a while to read them. Like, this is less than 200 pages, and it still took me like a week to read. So that just tells you how much work it is to read. I don't think that's a bad thing most of the times. I think that could be a really valuable reading experience, and this book is definitely good. I love Fitzgerald's writing. He is so good at explaining characters. When he writes a character, you feel like you're peering into their soul, you know? They feel like caricatures, yes, but not in a bad way. Like, they feel like caricatures, but they also feel like humans, you know? It's like, wow, people like this exist, but then you read and you're like, yeah, yeah, I can see how that happened. Like, I can see how they existed, and like, they're all really complicated too. And I just think that's really pretty. I'll talk about this more later, but I think that's also really good. And like, a lot of classics, they could be boring. Like, I'll just say it. Some classics can be boring. Like, some classics are very worth the read, but boring, you know? But this book is not boring, no matter how difficult it is to read. Like, it's worth it. It's worth the extra legwork that you have to do to get through like a paragraph, you know what I mean? It's a good time. Anyway. And also, 그리고 되게 예쁜 말들이 되게 많았어요. 되게 뭔가 진짜 하나하나 글이 다 되게 너무 막 마음에 울리는 말들, 예쁜 말들 되게 많았었어요. And he had so many good quotes in the middle. Well, obviously, I mean, it's such a famous book, so a lot of these quotes are all very famous. Old sport. But he is he has just a way with words, for sure. There's a reason he's famous, I guess. Anyway, for example, 제가 되게 좋아했던 글 중에서 데이지가 말한 글인데, I hope she'll be a fool. That's the best thing a girl can be in this world, a beautiful fool. 그분이 멍청한 사람이었으면 좋겠다. 여자가 이 세상에 제일 좋을 수 있는 거는 그렇게 왜 한국어로 얘기하니까 왜 이렇게 이상한 말인 것 같지? 아닌데, 그건 아닌데. 어쨌든 읽으신 분들 중에서 읽으신 분들이 무슨 얘기인지 알 것 같아요. 이게 되게 레이어드가 많잖아요. 데이지가 살면서 일단 1920년도잖아요. 차라리 이 세상에 못된 것들을 모르면서 사는 게 더 낫겠다. 그래서 내 딸도 그렇게 살았으면 좋겠다. 왜냐면 그 사실들을 알면 너무 마음이 아픈 걸 아니까. 그래서 그런 얘기를 했잖아요. 그렇게 설명을 할 수 있잖아요. 근데 그게 너무 예쁜 것 같았어요. There's a very, very famous line. I hope she'll be a fool. That's the best thing a girl can be in this world, a beautiful fool. Daisy said that about her daughter because it's about ignorance is bliss, you know, that whole debate, like, is it better to know or is it better to not know, you know? And so basically, it's the 1920s. She has lived her life, and she has realized a lot of the atrocities of the world, I guess, and she is just talking about how she thinks it'd be better off if her daughter was a beautiful fool. And back in those days, it was probably the best a woman could get, you know, to maybe to be ignorant to all the pain. I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying this is what Daisy said. But just to be ignorant to the hardships of the world. I mean, she's gonna grow up rich anyway, so maybe that'd be a better life for her. Is what I'm saying. 제가 그 말에 공감한지는 잘 모르겠지만 어쨌든 그런 말을 했던 게 너무 뭔가 스페셜한 것 같아요. 그리고 더 스페셜한 이유가 테일러 스위프트가 그 말을 또 이용해서 가사에 넣었어요. Happiness. I hope she'll be a beautiful fool who takes a spot next to you. Happiness by Taylor Swift. She references it. Happiness by Taylor Swift references The Great Gatsby a lot, actually. I love that song so much because of how literary it is. I love all of her music, obviously, but like I love when she uses literary references, like how she used Rebecca in like Tolerated. A lot of people have speculated, at least. And The Great Gatsby and Happiness, like, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. No, the light at the green light at the end of the pier, you know? Anyway, I like it. 테일러 스위프트가 이 문학적인 레퍼런스를 되게 많이 해요, 가사에. 그래서 더욱더 보는 재미가 있는 것 같아요. 듣는 재미도 있고. 그래서 이걸 이용했었더라고요. 그래서 더욱더 그 라인을 읽고 와! 그랬어요. 그리고 심지어 제가 읽었을 때는 그 노래가 이제 나오기 전이었을 테니까 다시 한번 그 노래를 생각해보면서 읽으니까 또 재밌더라고요. And the first time I read it, 2021, would have been, I think, before Evermore was released, before Happiness was released. So it was fun to read it again within the context of Happiness, you know. Anyway. And then we have the famous green light, which is also so famous, such a famous thing that's referenced all the time. But anyway, 그 다음에 그 초록불, 그 진짜 유명한 초록불이 있잖아요. 그 진짜 사람들이 맨날 레퍼런스하는 초록불, 그 씬이 나와요. 어떤 거냐면 개츠비가 자기의 맨션, 자기의 큰 집에 있는 시점에서 바라보는 시점이 데이지의 집 시점이 그 초록불 뭔지 아시죠? 이름은 뭔지 아실 거예요. 근데 어쨌든 the green light at the end of the docks, the piers, whatever you want to say. We could talk about what that references. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but in my opinion, I think it references his fantasy of Daisy, not the real Daisy. Here's the thing. There's mist. You can't actually see the house, but you can only see the green light. I think that kind of represents how he sees Daisy too. Like we'll get into this more later, but he's loved Daisy for so long that I think she has become a dream, a fantasy to him. The real Daisy, he also loves, but he loves the fake Daisy more, the Daisy that he's built up in his mind more. And I think that could be like a metaphor. The green light. He only sees the green light he through the mist. He doesn't actually see the real house and the real Daisy. And that green house, that green light, I think could be a representation of that. Anyway, 제가 생각했을 때 green light, 이게 진짜 이제 사람들이 많이 토론하잖아요. 제가 뭐 맞다고 틀리다고 막 그런 건 없고 그냥 제가 생각했을 때는 초록불이 And if you want to, you got the green light. And if you want to, you got the green light. Give it to mama. Go, 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 go. 죄송해요. Sorry. Anyway, I think it represents. Oh, sorry. 죄송해요. Glitch 있었어요. Glitch. 어쨌든. 이건 나중에 또 더 얘기할 거지만 데이지이지만 어쨌든 개츠비가 제가 생각했을 땐 개츠비가 진짜의 데이지를 사랑하는 게 아니라 자기가 여태 몇 년간 이제 꿈꿔왔던 데이지를 사랑하는 거죠. 그게 솔직하게 말하면 진짜의 데이지가 아니라 자기의 꿈속의 데이지, 판타지인 거죠. 근데 그 초록불이 솔직히 데이지 집의 쪽이지만 진짜의 데이지는 아니고 그 안개 속에 있는 초록불을 보이는 거잖아요. 진짜로 집이 보이는 게 아니라. 그래서 제가 생각했을 때는 그게 조금 그거인 거죠. 그 안개에 가려진 데이지를 사랑한다는 거죠. 안개에 가려진 데이지를 사랑하는 거예요. 진짜의 데이지를 사랑하는 게 아니라. 그래서 그 초록불이 약간 그런 거를 비유하는 거지 않을까 제 생각이에요. 앵소의 생각 뭐예요? 왜냐면 진짜 이거 사람마다 다 다르거든요. I think what do you guys think the green light represents? Because everyone thinks it's different. 과거의 추억의 데이지 맞아요. 약간 저도. I agree with you. Thank you. You're so crazy. Thank you. A number of things, no, like the American dream and unattainable desire. For sure, absolutely. I think Gatsby just thought he understood love, but he really didn't. He was just obsessed with the fantasy from the past. Yeah, for sure. The green light is just an ideal. Yeah. I mean, we're all saying the same things, really. 데이지 얼굴 블라인드 처리. 과거에 대한 향수. 릴리딩. Yes. I agree. You guys have the right. think we will have a similar idea. I'm thinking. 동의합니다. 오케이. 네, 그런 생각 전혀 안 하고 봤어. 미안. 아니에요. 솔직히 저도 제가 이제 수업으로 배운 게 아니라 그냥 읽은 거잖아요. 취미로. 그래서 솔직히 저도 딱히 초록불이 막 그렇게 중요하다고 생각을 안 들었을 거예요. 제가 중요하다고 생각이 드는 이유가 사람들이 너무 얘기를 많이 하니까. 개츠비랑 초록불이잖아요. 막 그래서 그 덕분에 알죠. 저도 그거 몰랐으면 진짜 딱히 생각 안 했을 거예요. 초록불 그냥 2번 나오는 씬인데 뭐지? Someone said I did really think about that while reading, which I can totally agree because the green light. I only like if I was reading this book with no prior knowledge at all, I would have just thought it was a green light. It only comes up like twice in the book. Like I wouldn't have thought it was that deep, you know? But because I've heard so many people talk about the green light, you know, everyone talks about that and it's referenced so many times. That's why I looked at it in that light. You know what I mean? I would totally understand though. Anyway. And okay, we've lost the plot a little bit. We've strayed from the plot a little. We've lost the plot. I love referencing myself. Anyway, Lily has lost the plot. Where were we? We were barely anything. We barely even talked about the plot at all. Sorry. So, Nick. He moves to the city and he goes and meets Daisy, his distant cousin, and her husband Tom. We don't like Tom in this house. Anyway, he meets them and we learn a little bit about them. And we also meet Jordan, who is like a tennis player. So, 니크가 톰 비켜라! 네. Boo, Tom! You guys are so cute! Oh, you guys are so cute! 톰 뷰캐넌 정말 최악이긴 했어. 너무 귀여워. 해서 너무 귀엽다. I know, we all thought the same thing. No to Tom. I know. 어쨌든 the Tom hate train is beginning, and we haven't even gotten into it yet. But anyway, 톰의 아내 데이지를 만나요. 데이지가 닉의 이제 먼 사촌인 거죠. 그래서 이제 그분이랑 이제 데이지랑 친구인 조던을 만나요. 그다음에 이제 어느새 새로운 집을 이사 갔는데 개츠비가 이웃이에요. 개츠비가 엄청 큰 예쁜 집을 지었고 그분이 엄청 부자인데 개츠비가 이웃이고 그분이 되게 큰 파티를 여는 약간 그런 걸로 유명한 사람이에요. And so he moves into his new house and his neighbor is the Great Gatsby. Why am I giving him his nickname as well? Anyway, his name's Gatsby. And he is in this gigantic mansion and he's very famous for oh my god, I'm talking way too fast for my brain to catch up. Anyway, he is famous for his big parties. And so 어느 날 니크가 초대를 받아서 그 파티에 가게 돼요. 그래서 거기에 아무도 모르는 거예요. 근데 조던을 만나요. 거기서 우연히. 그래서 이제 거기서 이제 만나다가 개츠비를 처음으로 만나게 됐어요. 그래서 그게 첫 만남이고요. And anyway, so he goes to the party for the first time and he knows no one. He's a bit of a loner. And then he ends up meeting Jordan at the party. His only friend. And understandable. I'm not being like, oh, you have no friends. Like, you just moved here. It's fine. But anyway, he meets Jordan and he, with Jordan, meets Gatsby for the first time. And that's their first meeting. 그리고 그것도 있어요. 톰이 데이지한테 바람 피고 있어요. 바람 피고 있어. 다른 여자랑. 이름이 메로. 그분이랑 바람 피고 있는데 어쨌든 뭐 막 밥 먹다가 막 갑자기 전화 오고 막 그래요. 진짜 막 대놓고 하는 중이에요. 데이지도 알고 주변 사람들도 되게 많이 아는 중이에요. 그래서 우우우우우. And also I forgot to add some more. Tom is cheating on Daisy with Myrtle. So everyone knows basically, and Jordan explains this to to Nick. Don't get the names mixed up. No. That'll get confusing. Anyway, like she calls in the middle of dinner and it's like just a whole thing and Daisy knows and it's really sad. And she's basically about to lose her mind out there. She's dying right now. She's dying. So 톰이 닉한테 자기의 바람피고 있는 여자를 소개를 해줘요. Wait, 그 단어를 몰라. Mistress, like 아내가 아닌 사람. 아내가 아닌 사람인데 바람피고 있어. 그런 단어 있나 한국어로? 내가 진짜 굳이 그거 내 인생에서 쓸 일이 없으니까 모른다. 정부? 네. 아니 약간 무서운데. 정부? 정부라고 하네요. 정부? Government? I love her. 그래요. 정부라고 해요. 어쨌든 정부로 소개시켜줘요. 닉한테. 그래서 다 같이 막 파티를 하고 그 씬도 되게 유명해요. 엄청 술을 많이 마시고 막 난리가 나고 톰이 또 톰 진짜 별로야. 톰 별로야. 톰이 막 메럴 때리고 막 그래요. 감옥 가야 되지 걔는 진짜. Anyway, so then Tom introduces Nick to his mistress, Myrtle. I hope I'm getting her name wrong, right, because that'd be awkward. But anyway, so they meet Myrtle. They have a party, and everything gets crazy. They get really drunk, and then they end up fighting. And then Tom hits his mistress. So like, ooh to him, go to jail, go to jail, go to jail. We don't like you. We don't like you. Anyway, so yeah, that happens. So not good. 진짜 생각해보니까 이 스토리 진짜 되게 짧긴 짧잖아요. 그 짧은 시간 안에 솔직히 많은 일도 있는 게 아니에요. 제가 봤을 때 이 책의 약간 메인 포인트는 스토리 라인보다는 캐릭터들인 것 같아요. And honestly, this book does not have a lot of plot. Like, they go to a couple parties, they meet, there's an affair, they fight, and then multiple people die. But we'll get to that. It's not really a very it's very good. The plot's good, but it's not like the main focus. I would say the character's the main focus. Because, I mean, it's only like 160 pages or something, so there's not a lot going on. But anyway, it's basically just them meeting each other, beautiful writing, characters interacting, and it's the end. So anyway, we do that. And then we find out some Gatsby lore. 개츠비에 대해 조금 더 알게 되어요. 알고 보니 개츠비가 데이지랑 옛날에 같이 사랑했었어요. 근데 어떤 안 좋은 일 때문에 개츠비가 이제 군대로, 왜냐하면 이 시절 때는 이제 세계대전 1 하는 시대여가지고 어쩔 수 없이 이제 싸우러 가요. 그래서 데이지를 이제 빠이빠이 하게 돼요. 데이지는 일단 그동안 조금 기다렸다가 이제 너무 안 오니까 톰이랑 결혼하게 된 거예요. 근데 개츠비는 그동안 계속 데이지만 생각한 거예요. 되게 로맨틱한 거죠. 개츠비가 데이지를 진짜 좋아해요. 데이지를 그동안 잃지 않고 계속 사랑한 거예요. 그래서 결국엔 이제 군대 나오고, 군대 들어가기 전에는 돈이 없었어요. 근데 어떻게든 데이지를 다시 만나려고, 왜냐면 데이지는 집안 좋은 곳에서 나왔으니까 어떻게든 데이지를 만나려고 돈을 많이 벌려고 해요. 돈을 어떻게 벌었냐? 저희도 잘 몰라요. 근데 조금 좋지 않은 길인 것 같긴 해요. 약간 비밀스러운데 약간 루머는 좋지 않아요. 어쨌든 그렇습니다. And so the lore is, turns out Gatsby and Daisy. 잠깐만요. Give me a second. I'm gonna turn the aircon up. I mean down. 살짝 아니 습하다. 너무 습하지 않아요, 여러분? 요즘에 날씨가 진짜 너무 습해요. It is so humid these days, guys. It's so humid. Anyway, so he meets. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I keep getting sidetracked. But they had a fling, and then he had to go off to war because we're currently, well, it was like the World War I situation, and so he had to go off to war and he had to leave her, and you know, it kind of reminds me of the song Peter by Taylor Swift. Everything goes back to her, but I mean, they like held a light on for each other during that time. But Daisy eventually she gave up looking for him and she married Tom, but Gatsby never forgot about her and was obsessed with her the whole time, and he was doing everything to get back to her. So he makes a lot of money because Daisy is from a really rich family and he wants to impress her and her family potentially. So he makes a lot of money. How he makes that money? Unclear, but not shady business. Shady aftermath. Shady. Anyway, I'm Slim Shady. Yes, I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are not the real Shady. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. Anyway, shady business. We don't condone that. But anyway, it's never actually like outright said what he does. So I guess give it a pass because we don't really even know. 뭘 했는지 몰라요. 근데 어쨌든 돈을 어떻게든 빨리 벌었어요. 근데 그게 이제 좋은 일인지 안 좋은 일인지는 잘 모르겠지만 모르니까 봐주자. 어쨌든 사실 되게 귀여운 거예요. 되게 귀여운 거예요. 그동안 계속 데이지만 생각한 거예요. 데이지만 생각을 해서 집도 지었어요. 그렇게 생각하면 조금 무섭기도 하다. 어쨌든 데이지를 다시 만나려고 집도 지었어요. 데이지의 집 바로 반대편, 바다 바로 반대편에. 그래서 그 그린라이트 초록빛. Anyway. 그리고 데이지가 계속 나한테 관심을 가지려고 그 큰 파티도 계속 연 거예요. 한편으로는 로맨틱하다고 생각할 수도 있고 한편으로는 집착이라도 생각할 수도 있고 한편으로는 좀 무섭다고 생각할 수 있고 각자의 생각마다 다를 것 같긴 한데 일단은 처음에는 저는 되게 로맨틱하다고 생각해요. 근데 이제 가면 갈수록 인 거죠. 근데 어쨌든 처음에는 되게 로맨틱해서 막 되게 저도 막 빠져요. 되게 어쨌든 And so he makes the money and he basically builds a gigantic house on the opposite side of Daisy. Now, he throws a lot of big parties in to get her attention. Debatable whether you think that's romantic, whether you think that's creepy, whether you think that's a bit obsessive. I think everyone's different. But for me, at least at the start, I thought it was very, very cute, very romantic. We'll see what happens, but I mean, I think it's romantic though. I was all over it. Like, anyway. Like, what do you mean he bought that whole house to be close to her? We love to see it, you know? It's creepy, girl. See? Everyone, a bit too much. Yeah, it is. Because, like, why couldn't he just communicate, you know? I don't know. So, 그 다음에 제가 제일 좋아하는 부분을 제가 제일 좋아하는 씬이 뭐냐면 첫 만남의 씬이에요. 데이지랑 개츠비의 첫 만남 씬. 일단은 개츠비가 닉이 친분이 있다고 알아요, 데이지. 그래서 부탁을 해요. 제발 한 번만 어떻게든. 왜냐면 솔직히 어쨌든 결혼하신 분이긴 하니까 너무 대놓고 할 순 없으니 한 번 제발 연결시켜줘라 라고 해서 이제 잘 만나게 돼요. 근데 그 씬이 진짜 너무 귀엽단 말이에요. 너무 귀여워요. 진짜 개츠비가 어쨌든 데이지를 얼마나 사랑하는지를 되게 잘 보여지는 씬이에요. And anyway, so now we're coming up to my favorite scene of the book. It's where Gatsby meets Daisy for the first time. I don't know why I'm saying Daisy with her first name and Gatsby. Well, that's how it works, I guess. Gatsby knows that Nick is close with Daisy, so he gets her to set them up, basically. Because, I mean, first things first, Daisy, she's married. So, especially back in those days, you can't just, like, go up to her and be like, you know, it's me, you remember me, you know. But she has a husband, you know what I mean? So, he had to do it secretly, and so, it's just a very cute scene. 진짜 너무 귀여웠어요. 약간 되게 아무렇지 않은 척을 하려고 하는 개츠비가 너무 귀여웠어요. 약간 너무 진짜 딱 봐도 진짜 너무 좋아하는데 아무렇지 않게 하려고 하는 게 너무 귀엽고, 약간 꽃도 막 엄청 잔뜩 사오고, 약간 계속 가려고 하는 게, 그냥 딱 봐도 진짜 만나고 싶은데 막 가려고 하는 게 너무 웃기고, 닉의 잔디도 막 잘라주고, 그거 너무 귀여웠어요. I was laughing so much. It was so funny. I think this is definitely my favorite scene. He was, the way he kept trying to act all nonchalant, but you could definitely tell he was so nervous. It was so funny. And he bought all those flowers, and like he kept trying to leave, and like he was like, oh, it's not even 4 o'clock, and he's like, oh, she's not here yet. You know what? I better go. And like he kept trying to leave. It was so funny. And he cut Nick's grass. That was so funny. And it was my favorite scene. And then 그 다음에 이제 데이지가 와요. 근데 되게 약간 아무렇지 않게 멋있는 척하는 게 되게 별로였어요. 아니 물론 알아요. 그 긴장이 돼서 그렇다는 건 알지만 그것 때문에 데이지가 너무 헷갈려 하잖아요. 그래서 처음에 되게 약간 엄청 어색하고 되게 약간 mean한 느낌이 났어요. 그래서 그것도 좀 별로였어요. Anyway, the way he acted at the start towards Daisy was such a no-go. Like I know he was really nervous, but it must have been so confusing to Daisy, and he was acting so mean. He was acting so nonchalant that it was coming off as mean, and I know Daisy was so confused, and I felt so bad for her. But anyway, and then 그 다음에 진짜 도망쳐요. 진짜 도망을 쳐요. 진짜 너무 웃겨. 진짜 그 단어 까먹었다. 용감의 반대가 뭐지? 겁쟁이다. 겁쟁이더라고요. 완전 겁쟁이. 그리고 그다음에 결국에는 이제 다시 와서 잘 이제 얘기를 해서 다시 사랑에 빠지게 돼요. And so anyway, he's such a coward. Like he runs away. It's so hilarious. He literally runs away mid conversation with her, and then he ends up coming back. And like they had to find him for like ages. It was so funny. And anyway, that scene is just really funny, and I stand by it. It's so funny. Everyone read that scene. Like it's so funny. It's so funny. Anyway, and then they end up like talking finally. He gets over his fears and they start talking, and like it all ends up okay, I think. Yeah, in the end it's okay, so that's good. And they end up embarking on an affair. So 그다음에 이제 개츠비가 이제 데이지한테 집 소개도 해주고 이제 막 투어도 해주고 막 그러고 되게 막 귀여워요. 그리고 되게 제가 특이하다고 생각했던 점이 진짜 여태까지 개츠비가 되게 전화를 많이 받아요. 왜냐면 조금 알지 못한 비즈니스를 하고 있어서 그런 것 같긴 하지만 어쨌든 계속 전화를 받으러 막 딴방에 가는데 딱 데이지가 있을 때만 그 전화를 안 받고 그냥 받지 않고 데이지랑 함께만 있는 게 되게 로맨틱하다고 생각했어요. And anyway, I thought it was really romantic because like, you know, Gatsby's shady. Dealing in some shady business. And so he has a lot of phone calls from all over the state. And I thought it was kind of cute that every single time leading up to this moment, he had left the room to answer the call and then come back. But when it came to Daisy, he didn't even answer the phone. So that was cute. Anyway, and then we get into some weird territory where I think the facade of Daisy starts falling down. Because what are you gonna do? She's a human. No human can live up to the expectation that Gatsby had for her, you know? So at the end of the day, and I like that about Gatsby. He acknowledges this himself. He understands, and he even talks about it. How he knows that his expectations for her are unreasonable because of how much he's built it up in his mind. So I like that he acknowledges that, but it is a little sad. But at the end of the day, I think they probably still would have worked through it. I was still team them, you know. Way better than Tom at least, you know. And 그 다음에 이제 개츠비가 솔직히 약간 자기도 인정을 하기 시작해요. 왜냐면 데이지는 사람이기 때문에 어쩔 수 없이 그동안 몇 년간 그려왔던 그 그림이랑 다를 수밖에 없잖아요, 데이지가. 그래서 근데 그게 좋았어요. 개츠비도 자기 스스로 인정을 했어요. 약간 그런 점들을. 그래서 그게 되게 좋았지만 조금 한편으로는 슬펐죠. 근데 솔직히 제가 봤을 때는 그래도 희망이 있을 거라고 생각을 했었어요. 아무리 그래도 그건 찐 사랑이라고 생각해요. 왜냐면 데이지가 누구든 사랑했을 거라고 생각을 해요. 물론 조금 실망은 할 수 있지만 그래도 어쨌든 데이지를 선택했지 않았을까 싶었어요. 어떤 일이 있든 그게 찐 사랑이라고는 생각을 했어요. 근데 그 다음에 안 좋은 사건이 이제 있죠. 이제 딱 마지막 때쯤으로 오고 있는데 개츠비, 톰, 조던, 닉, 데이지 다 같이 이제 놀러 가요. 근데 놀러 가면서 이제 알게 돼요. 톰이 개츠비랑 데이지가 이제 바람을 피고 있다는 걸 알게 돼요. 제가 봤을 때는 솔직히 화날 일이 아니라고 생각해요. 왜냐면 그분도 바람 피고 있잖아요. 똑같이. 근데 어쨌든 엄청 화를 내요. 화를 내서 데이지한테 말을 해요. 고르라고. 둘 중에. 그래서 데이지는 그래도 개츠비를 선택하죠. 아무래도. 근데 이제 개츠비가 말을 해요. 톰한테 얘기하라고. 나는 당신을 한 번도 사랑한 적이 없었다. 그렇게 얘기를 하라고. 개츠비가 막 계속 얘기해요. 데이지한테. 근데 데이지가 막 아무리 그래도 그 얘기는 못하겠다고. 어쨌든 사랑하긴 했었나 봐요. 지금은 아니어도 한 번은 사랑을 했었나 봐요. 그래서 그것 때문에 이제 개츠비가 막 상처받아가지고 막 둘 다 막 엄청 화나 있는 상태예요. So anyway, we're coming up to the end of the book, and Daisy, Tom, Nick, Gatsby, and Jordan all go to the city together to hang out. And something happens, and Tom ends up finding out that they're having an affair. And he's not happy about that. Which I think is obviously very, very hypocritical considering, like, how he's been having an affair this whole time. But I mean, like, whatever. We all know he's a bad dude. So he gets really angry, and they get into it, and he ends up like asking Daisy to choose between him or Gatsby, and Daisy ends up choosing Gatsby, obviously. But then he's like, so Gatsby's all gloaty and is like, tell Tom that you never loved him and that you only loved me. But like, she can't say it. She cannot get it through her mouth. She could not get it through her mouth. And eventually, I guess she really did love him at one point, even if it's not now. But she can't say it with a true heart. And so obviously now Gatsby's hurt, Tom's already angry, and then it's just a very not good situation. 어쨌든 그래서 이제 톰이 막 말해요. 개츠비랑 이제 둘이 가라고. 그래서 가요. 차를 타요. 이제 곧 알게 된 일인데 데이지가 운전을 하고 있어요. 근데 데이지가 운전을 잘 못하나 봐요. 그래서 톰의 정부를 죽여요. 아, 이렇게는 아니고 차로, 실수로 죽이고 떠나가요. 그냥 아주 나쁜 짓을 했죠. 아주 나쁜 짓을 했죠. 그래서 이제 그분을 그분을 발견을 해요. 뭐냐면 톰이랑 이제 나머지 친구들이 발견을 해서 이제 난리가 난 거죠. 처음엔 누가 죽인지 모르니까 갔으니까. So anyway, so then Tom is like to Gatsby and Daisy like leave together, like whatever. I know she's gonna love me anyway. Anyway, so they leave. We find out that Daisy was driving the car. And basically, she runs over Myrtle. Small world, I know. What are the chances? But she runs over Myrtle, Tom's... What's the word? Tom's mistress, yeah. She runs over Tom's mistress. And it's a hit and run, and so they leave. So apparently Gatsby tried to get her to... I think Gatsby tried to get her to turn around, but I mean, I think there was like a struggle, and like at the end, they just left. Anyway, so then Nick and Tom and Jordan, I think Jordan was there, discover the body of Myrtle. So like, yeah, small world, I know. 비좁은 세상이죠. His side piece. Don't do Myrtle dirty like that. Nah, she's much more than that. But anyway, yes. 되게 비좁은 세상이죠. 왜냐하면 조금 말이 안 되죠. 어떻게 하필 데이지가 이 많은 사람들 앞에서 이 많은 사람들 중에서 딱 그분을 죽이죠? 약간 그거지만 뭐 책이니까 어느 정도는 봐줘야죠. I think it's like a really small world because like what do you mean out of all the people that she could have run over it's her? I don't even think she knew who she ran over by the way. But anyway, small world. 근데 어쨌든 이제 톰이 이제 진짜 되게 슬퍼하죠. 왜냐면 어쨌든 사랑하는 사람이 맞았으니까 슬퍼하고 누가 말을 해요. 차를 봤다고. 근데 그 차가 개츠비의 차인 거예요. 따다단. 그래서 원래 머틀의 husband 원래 머틀의 남편이 이제 그걸 완전 슬픈 상태에서 이제 그걸 발견해서 그럼 그 사람이 개츠비가 누군지는 아마 몰랐을 거예요. 근데 어쨌든 그 사람이 내 아내를 죽였다. 그리고 그 사람이 내 아내랑 진짜 되게 복잡하지만 일부러 죽인 줄 알아요. 실수가 아니라 일부러 머틀인 걸 알고 머틀이 그 차를 보고 뛰쳐나갔다고 생각을 해서 결국에는 그 실수가 그 안 좋은 사건이 있다는 거죠. 그래서 어쨌든 그 사람이 어쨌든 내 아내를 죽였기도 했지만 어쨌든 그 전에는 계속 바람 피우고 있었다 내 아내를 그렇게 생각한 거죠. 근데 그거 알고 보니 그 사람이 톰 차인 거예요. 개츠비 차가 아니라. 근데 어쨌든 톰 차를 개츠비의 집에 뒀어요. 자, 제가 진짜 정확하게 설명해 드렸어요. 안 헷갈리게. 헷갈릴 만두. 헷갈릴 만두. 미안해요. Anyway. So this is very complicated, so I'll just like give you the rundown. The original husband of Myrtle, not Tom, but her actual husband, is obviously distraught. He thinks that it's not an accident. And someone says they saw the car that killed her. And he thinks that she ran out to the road because she recognized the car. So he doesn't think it's an accident. So he thinks that if he finds the car, that car will be the man who's been having the affair with Myrtle and also who killed her. So he wants to get revenge on that dude. I explained that to you pretty well. I must give myself a pat on the back. I explained that way better than in Korean. But anyway, so they're all distraught. But anyway, he goes on a manhunt to find her. 그래서 어쨌든 그분이 이제 죽였다라고 해서 찾아야겠다라고 해서 찾아가요. 개츠비의 집으로. 근데 결국에는 총을 들고 있고 개츠비를 죽이고 나서 자기를 죽여요. 와우. Dramatic ending. Wow, what an ending. And anyway, so that dude, he ends up finding Gatsby's house. I don't think he really knows who Gatsby is, but he finds Gatsby's house. He kills Gatsby with a pew pew, and then he kills himself at the end. So that's the big reveal. That's the big plot twist, the shocker. Wow. Whoa, we just speed ran the ending. No, we didn't. What else happens? All he does is go on this manhunt, and Daisy, actually, Gatsby goes in hiding, and then I think has Nick do all of his like business for a while because he's afraid they'll find him. I didn't miss anything else, right? Anyway. Say it's a joke. No, I'm afraid it's not. Gatsby dies. Shocker. I was shocked just now, even though I read it. I know, it's a shocking ending. Lily, there's a Great Gatsby musical in the West End right now, and Corbin Blue. Yeah, I've seen that actually. Yeah, I saw that. 어쨌든 데이지랑 톰이랑 떠나고요. 그러니까요. 어쨌든 so sad. 되게 sad. 되게 슬퍼요. 엔딩이 너무 슬퍼요. 왜냐면 개츠비가 그렇게 큰 파티를 내고 그렇게 많은 초대인을 있잖아요. 자기 집에 지인분들도 많고. 근데 결국에는 개츠비의 뉴스를 듣고 찾아온 사람이 진짜 한 명도 없었던 것 같아요. 아버님 빼고. 그게 너무 슬펐던 것 같아요. 그리고 개츠비의 장례식도 있었는데 장례식에도 거의 안 오고 되게 슬펐던 것 같아요. And I think the ending is just really sad because Gatsby, after his death and after people hear of his death, no one comes to visit him. No one visits his funeral. That's the craziest part. He throws these gigantic gigantic parties with all these people, and all these people who were leeching off his money, and like at the end of the day, he had no one except Nick. I mean, Nick is such a good friend, but I mean, that's really sad. Except, and also his father comes to visit. But anyway, so 되게 슬펐어요. 닉이 거의 다 해줬어요. 닉이 아무리 전화를 해도 지인들이 아무도 안 오는 거예요. 그게 너무 슬프더라고요. 그리고 이제 아버님을 불러서 알고 보니 개츠비가 아니라 이름이 Jacob? Was it Jay Gatz or Jacob Gatz? I don't know. 어쨌든 Gatz라는 사람이었는데 되게 바꿨더라고요. 자기의 아이덴티티를. 원래 되게 돈 없었고 뭐 그건 알았지만 어쨌든 그렇게 해서 이제 James Gatz, thank you. Right. So 그렇게 조금 알게 되고 사실 그 부분 그렇게 잘 이해를 하지 못한 것 같아요. 약간 it's just 어쨌든 옛날에 그렇게 되게 좋지 않은 집안에 살았다가 뭐 어떻게든 누구를 만나서 배를 타고 막 그런 얘기들이 있었는데 그건 그냥 뭐 조금 그렇구나 하고 읽었어요. Anyway, and then we learned this whole backstory from his father. His name's James Gatz. Apparently, he was clearly not born into a wealthy family, and like there's this whole backstory where he goes and meets some sort of captain, and he's on the boat, and like I don't know, and then he gets inheritance, but then he doesn't. I kind of just skimmed past that, not gonna lie. I mean, that one's just like backstory, I guess. But anyway, so all that happens, and yeah, that's the end, really. And like by the end of it, I think it's really interesting how Nick almost felt an obligation to care for all of his business, even though he himself was still feeling really. He didn't know how to feel about Gatsby, and I think that really reflects the readers as well, of how our opinion on Gatsby changes as we read. So I thought that was interesting, but I also thought he was kind of an upstand guy for doing that. 아 그리고 닉이 진짜 모든 걸 다 처리해줬어요. 아무도 없으니까 그게 되게 대단했다고 생각했어요. 왜냐면 닉도 한때는 되게 자기도 어떻게 개츠비에 대해서 생각을 해야 될지 모르고 있더라고요. 그래서 그게 약간 읽는 사람이랑 비슷한 시점이어서 되게 신기했고, 닉도 되게 개츠비에 대한 의견이 왔다 갔다 하는 것처럼 저도, 그리고 대부분 사람들, 읽는 사람들이 의견이 왔다 갔다 했을 것 같아요. 일단은 한편으로는 되게 로맨틱한 것 같지만 한편으로는 조금 거짓말쟁이인가? 조금 안 좋은 일들을 써서 돈을 벌었나? 약간 그런 것도 있고 약간 어쨌든 그래서 그게 조금 신기했고요. 그게 재미있는 것 같아요. 저는 개인적으로는 캐릭터가 너무 진짜 면이 한 개? 면이 한 개인 것 같은 그런 캐릭터들보다는 진짜 복잡하고 약간 좋아하는데 또 한편으로는 가끔씩 어떤 행동 때문에 와 이거 왜 했지? 약간 그런 거를 되게 좋아해요. 입체적인 캐릭터 맞아요. 근데 개츠비뿐만 아니라 솔직히 모두 다. 왜냐면 데이지에 대해서 되게 실망했어요. 데이지 되게 좋았다가 막 안 좋았다가 막 그랬지만 마지막에는 데이지가 솔직히 개츠비를 버렸잖아요. 그게 되게 실망스럽기도 했고 unhappy ending이라고 할 수 있죠. 톰 빼고. 톰은 처음부터 끝까지 싫었어요. 누구든지 anyway 빌런이라고 할 수 있죠. 아 근데 그것도 아니야. 왜냐면 또 톰이 자기 죽은 그 바람핀 여자 죽은 분 보고 되게 슬퍼하는 거 보고 그래도 심장이 아예 돌은 아니네 그 생각도 들긴 했어요. 그래 근데 뭐 그래도 별로긴 했죠 어쨌든. Anyway, I think that is one of my favorite things about this book is how every single character is so complex. Like there's no one-sided characters. Like they all have this deep lore about them, and that's what makes the reading experience more fun. And probably what has made people love this story for years to come because they probably can't make up their minds on how to feel about it either. Because like even Daisy, like most of the times we love her, but at the end, she totally deserts Gatsby. She was the one that did the hit and run and she let him fall for it and die for it. And sure, maybe that, but like then she doesn't even visit his funeral. She just completely ghosts him and goes back to her privileged living with her horrible husband life. Like at the end of the day, she is a privileged brat. Like what can you say? 결국에는 그래서 되게 슬픈 엔딩이지만 그게 재미라고 생각해요. 아니 저는 대부분은 슬픈 엔딩을 별로 좋아하진 않아요. 근데 이 책은 조금 잘 어울리는 것 같고 그거 덕분에 되게 여태까지도 계속 많은 사람들이 읽고 사랑하고 그러는 것 같아요. 왜냐면 사람들도 읽으면서 자기가 어떻게 생각해야 될지도 잘 모르는 것 같더라고요. 모두 다. 어떤 캐릭터든. 닉은 조금 그냥 좀 무난한 캐릭터긴 하지만 솔직히 그분의 시점으로 보는 거니까 또 다른 사람 시점으로 읽었다면 또 다른 이야기였겠지. 약간 그런 생각도 들기도 하고. And since it is from the perspective, yeah, I'm saying that right. Why does it sound weird? Perspective of Nick. Well, you know, you never know. If we were reading it from someone else's perspective, it'd be a whole different story. If we were reading it from Tom's perspective, well, that's a stretch. But I mean, if we were reading it from Daisy's perspective, it'd probably be a whole different story. In my opinion, Daisy felt obligated to go back and trapped by the relationship, likely due to social standards at the time, but she was certainly content being comfortable. Absolutely, you're right. We're not doing too much on Daisy. No, she's no Tom. We're not doing too much on Daisy. She, understandable, but at the same time, she did run over a human, so. Anyway. 저는 개인적으로는 되게 개츠비랑 데이지가 잘 이어졌으면 좋았겠다는 생각을 많이 하긴 했어요. 물론 둘 다 단점이 많지만 서로 그걸 보완하면서 잘 살았을 것 같아요. 그 일이 없었다면. 그래서 되게 아쉽긴 했어요. 되게 러브 스토리가 좋았을 것 같아요. 그 둘이가. 그리고 너무 아쉬워요. 데이지가 다시 그 나쁜 그 집안으로 다시 돌아간 게 너무 아쉬웠어요. And honestly, I low-key shipped Gatsby and Daisy. I think they definitely have their flaws, but I think they would have worked it out. And I was just really sad how they didn't work out at the end. Because if that didn't happen, if that whole thing didn't happen, I feel like, yeah, Gatsby definitely needs to work on how he feels about her. And Daisy's definitely really flighty, and they both have issues, but I feel like they would have worked it out, you know? 이룰 수 없으니 바란 거야? 그렇게 생각할 수도 있죠. I feel like a big theme with obsession with ideals and aesthetics mostly expressed through the people. Yeah, definitely that's a big theme. 근데 비극적이어서 개츠비의 사랑이 더 절실하게 느껴지는 것 같아요. 맞아요. 오히려 엔딩이 좋지 않아서 덜 느끼하고 더 뭔가 바라는 것 같긴 해요. Daisy, what? Gatsby liked the idea of Daisy, not her. He liked the fame she provided. I don't think he liked the fame. I think that he really did love the idea of her. Like it wasn't a shallow love, for sure, the love that he had for her, but it was a fantasy love. But that fantasy love was true. I do believe that. I do believe he loved her. Will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful? I know you well, I know you well, I know that you will. Will you still love me when I'm no longer beautiful? OST. He ruined himself, obsessed with himself in the past, not Daisy. Okay. I don't really get what that means. But, yeah. Goated song. It is a very, very good song. Lily, can you do the success gesture? Sure. It's very sudden, but success! Sorry. 어쨌든. So if I tell you how many stars I gave it, I wonder what you'd think. I will tell you this. It is the exact same rating that I gave when I first read it in 2021. I really did stand by that rating. Younger Lily has not changed. But I mean, because like, in my memory, I think, was it really that good that I gave it 4.5? But then I was reading again and I'm like, yeah, this is definitely up there. I was gonna give it a 5-star, but I don't know why. I think the only reason I deducted it is not even probably what you would think. It's just, there was a lot of, I'm not gonna say filler, because the writing is definitely beautiful, so you can't say it's filler, but I mean, there was a lot of unnecessary tangents, I think. Which is good for other people, but just for me, I sometimes got bored in the middle. Like, there was just, sometimes it just went on for like way too long, you know? And because like the scenes that were really, really good were just like, they were great, you know? But then there were some parts where I'm like, okay, but I don't really care, you know what I mean? Like especially about Gatsby's backstory. And this is just a me problem, because like I'm sure it's because I can't understand language that well, like the language of the 1920s that well, because I had a hard time understanding some parts of it, not a lot of it, but I mean some parts of it. I had to like really like work my brain, you know? So I think that's the only reason. Other than that, like it was really good though. Like famous for a reason, classic for a reason. I get it. I get the hype. So only a few gripes, but at the end of the day, I really, really do cherish this book. That's my main problem with most books, honestly. Like, it just ruins the pace for me. I don't know. Yeah, the pacing was a bit off, for sure. 저는 개인적으로 4.5를 드렸어요. I gave it a 4.5 stars. 예전에 2021년에 읽었을 때랑 달랐을까 되게 달라졌을까 되게 궁금해했는데 결국에는 똑같이 줬어요. 제가 다시 생각했을 때는 이게 진짜 4.5만큼 좋았나? 라고 생각을 했었는데 다시 읽어보니까 확실히 좋았더라고요. 진짜 너무너무 재밌게 읽었고 왜 유명한지도 너무 잘 알 것 같고 그냥 약간 지니어스의 마인드 너무 칭찬을 하는 것 같긴 하지만 어쨌든 지니어스의 마인드를 읽고 있는 것 같은 느낌. 근데 어쨌든 조금은 깎일 수밖에 없는 이유가 약간 제 문제인 것 같긴 한데 조금 필요 없는 구간들이 책이 짧잖아요. 근데도 이렇게 느껴진 거면 이 부분들이 약간 굳이 이렇게 길 필요가 있었나? 그냥 짧게 설명할 수 있지 않았을까? 약간 그런 생각이 들 때가 조금씩 있어가지고 그것 때문에 이제 4.5, 0.5로 깎았지만 솔직히 그래도 되게 아끼는 책이 될 것 같아요. 예전에도 되게 좋아했지만 다시 읽으니까 더 좋아한 것 같고 앤서분들이랑 이번에 릴리더스랑 이번에 다시 얘기를 하니까 더 좋은 추억들이 생긴 것 같고 영화도 너무 재밌어가지고 솔직히 조금 어렵긴 하잖아요. 어쨌든 1920년도에 쓴 책이면 어쩔 수 없이 그 언어 차이가 있을 수밖에 없으니까 그런 그 작은 것들 때문에 이제 완벽한 점수를 줄 수는 없었지만 어쨌든 그래도 되게 높은 점수라고 생각해요. 다들 몇 점 줬어요? How many stars did you guys get? I want to see. How many stars? 다들 몇 점 드렸어요? 4 for me. Okay. 4.5, 4, 4, 3.9. Wow. 5. Okay. 4.0. 3 stars. 4.5 same as you. Okay. 5, 4, 3.8. 와. 3.8. 되게 정확하시네요. 4.3, 3.5, 4. 오케이. 그래도 대부분은 꽤 높게 주긴 했네요. 제일 좋아했던 씬은 뭐예요? 저는 아까 얘기했지만 전 그 비왔던 그 씬이요. 그 개츠비랑 데이지의 첫 만남. So what was your favorite scene? Because mine was like the rain scene, their first meeting, like I said. But what was yours? The first party, the crash. Okay, controversial. I find Nick quite an unreliable narrator who hides and is selective with giving information and who catalysts for many of the immoral actions of other actors. You ate with that. Yeah, I know. But like, here's the thing about unreliable characters. You don't know how unreliable. You don't know if they are unreliable. They could be like that's the mystery and that's the fun of it, you know? I think I liked it when Gatsby came out from Nick's point of view. Feels like something strangely twisted. Came out? When did he come out? Came out as a Daisy lover? I don't know. Gatsby and Daisy's meeting, yeah. 역시 다 비슷한 생각을 하네. 어쨌든 우리 릴리더스는 모두 다 톰의 넘버원 헤이터이죠. Anyway, us Lil readers, we are the number1 Tom haters. Band together. Let's do it. 아니 여러분 이번에 너무 재밌었다. 앤서분들이 진짜 할 말 아니 릴리더스가 진짜 재밌는 얘기를 많이 해줘서 너무 재밌었어요. The scene when Gatsby died was heartbreaking, but it was one of my favorites. Not because I want him to die. Yeah, it's iconic. Very iconic. Boo, Tom. Yes. 톰 진짜 재수 없음. 그러니까요. 톰 붕따. 닉 역시도 개츠비를 조금 너무 낭만적인 시선으로 보고 있었다고 생각하나요? 네네네네. 아무래도 닉의 시점에서 보는 게 확실히 그 이야기에 보고 있는 시점에서도 조금 다른 느낌이 나긴 해요. 근데 솔직히 알 수가 없잖아요. 정확하게. 물론 힌트는 있을 수 있지만 그 힌트도 솔직히 닉이 넣은 힌트일 수 있잖아요. 그게 재미라고 생각하긴 하는데 결국에는 개츠비가 어떤 사람인지 그게 제일 궁금한 포인트인 것 같아요. 개츠비에 대한 되게 안 좋은 루머도 많고 안 좋은 말들도 많지만 근데 또 좋은 사람인 것 같기도 하고 솔직히 몰라요. 진짜 이상한 사람 맞을 수도 있잖아. 그리고 저희는 알 수가 없는 게 그게 진짜 재밌는 것 같아요. 뭔가 더 다 뻥 같은 사람. 그러니까요. 왜냐면 다 뻥이었으니까. 뻥이 되게 많았긴 했잖아요. 근데 또 솔직하게 말할 때는 또 되게 뭔가 좋아하고 싶지 않아요? 근데 개츠비가 뭔가 응원하고 싶은 게 있어요, 되게. Like I don't know what it is about Gatsby. Like, but he makes you want to root for him. Who knows? He could be lying about everything. Like, who knows? But you want to root for him. I don't know. Maybe it's because he keeps calling everyone old sport. But yeah. Disagree there. Sorry. You didn't want to root for him at all? I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. No problems. You don't need to be sorry. This is a discussion. It's open discussion. I want you guys to be honest. So you didn't want to root for him. I did. Maybe it's just because I'm a romantic at heart. But I know he's dealing in shady business for sure. But like, at the end of the day, I just didn't really care. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted it to be a love story. I think I'm just too much of a romantic. And I want him to not be a creep. I want them to be together, you know? Like, I just can't help it. I'm too much of a romantic. Can't root for Gatsby. Sounds like you never had to hustle for love. I'm assuming you're talking to that other person. But I mean, I don't know. I can see both sides because if I was a more cynical person, yeah, Gatsby sus as. He's sus as. Yeah, I understand. I understand both perspectives, really. To be honest, it was sweet at first, but you know, yeah, I know what you mean. But he really did sacrifice himself for her, you know. He made himself the fool for the hit and run. That's kind of admirable of him. That's real love. I mean, it's not healthy love, but it's still real love. Anyway, so that was a lot of fun. I'm running out of pages in my notebook. Not that much, but I mean there's still lots of time, but it's okay. 이거 봐요. 엄청 많이 썼어요. 뿌듯해. 이거 다 써야지. 다 쓰고 다음 노트 더 예쁜 걸로 바꿔야겠다. 지금 안 쓰고 있는 중인 노트가 많아. 지금 빨리 쓰고 싶은 노트가 많아. 어쨌든 이번에 진짜 너무 재밌는 얘기를 많이 나눌 수 있어서 너무 재밌었다. It was so fun today. You guys had such great things to say. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. I guess maybe because it's so famous, everyone already knows already knows the storyline, so you guys had a lot to say today. Or maybe I just haven't been looking at the comments enough. I'm sorry. I get distracted by like talking about it so much. Like I have to explain the plot and like how I think. But anyway, I really want to thank everyone for expressing their thoughts. This is always discussion. Like, please don't feel pressure to agree with me. I am not Lord. Like, I'm not Lord. No, I'm not. I'm waiting for it. That green light. I want it. Much to everyone's surprise, I am not the New Zealand singer Lord. But anyway, I want you guys to talk about your opinions. 어쨌든 오늘 너무 릴리더스 분들도 되게 재밌는 얘기를 많이 해주시고 댓글도 많이 남겨주시고 그러니까 그래서 너무 재밌었어요. 제가 평소에 너무 더 열심히 읽어야겠다. 앤서분들, 릴리더스 분들의 댓글을 더 열심히 읽고 그러니까 책이 유명해서 그런지 다들 다 스토리를 알아서 그런지 되게 의견이 많더라고요. 너무 고마워요, 이야기를 해서. 근데 진짜 저는 앤서 마이 갓! 아니 앤서도 맞지만 어쨌든 릴리더스 분들이 솔직하게 의견을 이야기하는 게 너무 좋아요. 꼭 저랑 안 맞아도 되니까 이거는 진짜 토론이니까 제가 말한다고 제 생각만 말하는 거죠. 제가 막 팩트를 말하는 게 아니잖아요. 그래서 앤서 분들이 릴리더스 분들이 솔직하게 얘기하시는 게 너무 재밌는 것 같아요. 그것도 재밌으니까. Lily, did you read Solitaire by Alice Oseman? No, I've heard of it. I've read a few of her other books, but I haven't read Solitaire yet. Is it good? I've read Loveless. That was really good. I like that. And I've read obviously Heartstopper from Alice Oseman. I think that's what I've read. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Oh my god, she's only 30. She's a queen. How old was she when she first published? What the heck? I think her debute's 2014, so she would have been... That was 10 years ago. She would have been like 19 or something. That's insane. Publishing your first book at 19 is insane. I know like Heartstopper started as a webcomic, so... But it's a novel, though, so... That's insane. Good for her. Good for her. Anyway. Anyway. This was really fun. You don't know how much this book riled me up, but it was quite fun. I know, everyone has big opinions. I mean, it's famous for a reason. But, it makes your heart pound, you know, I don't know. It is controversial for a reason, and, it's hard to read it with just a passive view, you know, like, at one, I don't know, it's hard. 다음 작품도 기대된다. 저도요. 다음 작품 지금 아니 물론 아이디어가 있지만 리스트가 있는데 뭘로 할지 아직 고민 중이에요. 앤서분들 하고 싶으신 거 있으세요? 책이나 영화든 둘 다 괜찮은데 좀 유명한 거여야 되고 많은 사람들이 쉽게 읽거나 볼 수 있는 거? 타이타닉. 타이타닉 진짜 많은 사람들에게 그 슬픔을 주는 것도 너무 미안하겠다. 타이타닉 읽으면서 얼마나 많이 울었는지 몰라요, 진짜. 머니볼? 그거 들어봤어요. 인터스텔라? 그것도 리스트에 있긴 해요. 근데 제가 읽어본 적이 없는 걸 하기가 너무 두려운 거예요. 왜냐면 이제 제가 한 번 읽거나 아니면 본 영화면 약간 할 말이 많겠다. 약간 그런 작품들이 있잖아요. 근데 제가 한 번도 읽어본 적이 없으면 약간 이거 할 말이 많으려나? 약간 왜냐면 그런 게 있잖아요. 약간 대화를 할 수 있는 주제들이 많은 작품들을 들고 와야지 이렇게 재밌게 얘기를 많이 나눌 수 있잖아요. 근데 그냥 뭐 재밌다 약간 그 정도뿐만 아니라 진짜 생각을 많이 하게 되는 약간 그런 걸 읽어야 돼요. 그래서 Forrest Gump 그거 리스트에 넣어야겠다. 이미 있을 수도 있겠다. 근데 저 그거 진짜 어렸을 때 제 최애 영화의 탑이 거의 탑이었어요. 진짜 좋아했었어요. 근데 wait a second 왜 이렇게 못 찾겠지 내 리스트를? It's not on here. anyway 고민을 해봐야겠어요. 왜냐면 진짜 그리고 책으로 할지 영화로 할지도 되게 고민. 이번 달 곧 되게 바빠지긴 할 텐데. 과연 책까지 읽을 수 있는 시간이 될까? 아니면 그냥 혹시 모르니까 영화로 하는 게 더 안전하려나? 근데 내가 또 빨리 읽을 수 있으면 되긴 하는데 또 너무 긴 거면 또 그것도 오래 걸리겠지. 그런 고민이 되게 많아요. 그냥 영어로 봐요, 릴리. 근데 책으로 하는 게 더 재밌잖아요. 아니, 영어도 재밌긴 한데 책으로 연습 릴리더스 분들과 같이 읽는 느낌이 너무 좋아요, 저는. 나도 책이 좀 더 좋긴 해. 그쵸. 근데 또 영화도 나쁘지 않아요. 영화도 재밌긴 해요. 1984 by George Orwell. That's a good one. That's a good one. 근데 와우, 그거 예전에 한번 읽어본 적이 있었는데 되게 어려웠어요. 지금 읽으면 좀 낫긴 할 텐데 이해 못하는 것도 좀 있었어요. 예전이었어가지고 지금이 훨 낫긴 하겠지만 이야기할 거리가 많을 것 같긴 한데 조금 위험한 게 많을 것 같아서 그건 좀 고민해봐야 될 것 같아요. War and Peace? Nah, you're crazy. What do you mean War and Peace? Have you seen that? It's a brick. It's like 800 pages. We're gonna have to read that for a year. That one's scary, and that one's really scary. And it's by a Russian author. They scare me. Like the writing style, I've heard it's like really hard to get into. But like once you know it, it's like good, you know what I mean? Oh, The Song of Achilles. I really love that book. That's one of my favorite books. I love that. Almond. I've heard of that one. That's on my TBR. 아몬드. 그거 되게 많이 들어봤어요. 그거 제가 읽고 싶어요. 샀나? 저번에 샀던 것 같은데. 내 책꽂이에 있는 것 같기도. 근데 어쨌든 그것도 고민. 그거 되게 짧더라고요. 그래서 얘기할 만한 게 많을지 모르겠어요. 읽은 사람들 중에서 좀 얘기할 만한 거 있었나요? 아몬드 재밌어요. 오, 아몬드 꼭 읽어봐. 오케이. 꼭 읽을 거긴 한데 얘 일일이야 릴리딩 때 읽으면 한지. The Three Musketeers. It's really funny, I promise. Okay, I've heard a lot about that. Well, have you read Yellowface? Yes, I did read Yellowface as an audiobook. I loved it. I did. I liked that a lot. Stephen King for horror special in the summer. That could be fun. But like, I need to verify. Like, we need to make sure a lot of people can read it, you know? What if it's like too violent and stuff? I don't know. And what if there's not much to talk about? See, this is what scares me. I need to read good book club picks, you know? No Stephen King, I need to sleep. Yeah, I know. He is up there, though. I do want to read him, eventually. Because it's crazy that I've never read one book from him. Like, that's insane. As a reader, I need to at least read The Shining or something, or Pet Sematary or something. Lily, have you read They Both Die at the End? No, I don't, but that's actually on my shelves right now. I'm gonna read it. Have you read The Boy in the Striped Pajamas? That's also on my TBR. I haven't read it though. The Picture of Dorian Gray would be fun. Oh, I did like that. I did like that classic. That was a good book. But it's also kind of short. I don't know if there'll be a lot to talk about, but we could definitely do it. I'm sure we could do that one day. I'll put it on the list. That one was a really interesting read. I like that. What about The Cruel Prince? I've heard a lot about that one too. I want to read that eventually. That's on my TBR too. Crime and Punishment. That is another one that scares me. Like, look, when I say classics, I mean like 200-page classics. Those types of books scare me. Okay, I do want to read it eventually. At one point. 어쨌든 제가 잘 생각해 볼게요. About Time, The Devil Wears Prada, very, very good books. Very, very good movies. The Little Prince. Yes, that's good. I've read that. It's good. But it's so short. I don't really think there'd be a lot to talk about. 데미안? 데미안이 뭐지? 아니요. 처음 들어봐요. 안 읽어봤어요. 근데 그것도 재밌어 보이네요. Anyway, thank you. 좋은 추천을 많이 해주셔서 너무 감사해요. 그러면 저는 이만 가보겠습니다. 너무 즐거웠어요. 엔서분들이랑 The Great Gatsby 얘기를 해서 너무너무 재밌었어요. 그럼 다음에도 봐. 사랑해. 다음에도 곧 다시 돌아올게요. 고민해보고 좋은 작품을 고를게요. 우리 릴리더스 너무 사랑해. I love you, my little readers. See ya. Love you. Thank you.